Napheesa Collier declares war on the WNBA. And David wants to know, did y'all see the interview? I
Hell
saw
yes.
the whole. It was more of a statement than an interview, and
I don't
I
think it was
just
an
want to
interview
talk
at
about
all.
how.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want y'all to talk about. Chill, I'll let you kick it off. If you watched it, checked it out. What do you think about what she said, and changes and everything? I personally think that this was waging war on the commissioner. How do you feel about this? What y'all see?
I think that leadership, when you're talking about a league, I don't care where it is, whether it's in the NBA, whether it's in any sort of business, leadership comes from the top. And when leadership is bad, it just resonates throughout the whole crew. And I feel like with what Napheesa is talking about, she's talking about this commissioner doesn't really care about what we got going on. It's almost like we are irrelevant to her. Because remember who commissioners work for. Like Roger Goodell works for all 30 owners in the NFL. He does not work for the players. This commissioner works for the owners in the WNBA. So you guys are second. Whatever the owners want, that's what's important to me, not what you guys have going on. And Fee has a valid claim in what she's saying, because I vividly remember hearing David Stern say, quote, if I had to do it over again, we would be more diligent at regulating that sort of play. He was talking about the bad boy Pistons, which means that the league decides how games get called. Like in terms of the physicality, we decide how things are seen. And it looks to me like, in terms of what Fee was talking about, you guys are allowing this stuff and you guys aren't doing anything about it. So you don't really care about our well-being. On top of that, you're essentially telling us you should be lucky that you're here to be playing. Okay, that's valid, Mars. I think, to be honest with you, I am lucky to have a job. But you know what? You're lucky to have me too. Because without me, there is no league, which means you don't have a job neither. So I think that there's a respect factor that's not there. And because of that, I think we're in a space now where this commissioner may have to go. I do. I think we're in a space where this commissioner has to go, because I think that the players, I don't think they have any respect for him whatsoever. David Stern, there was a level of respect, even though the players didn't like him, there was a level of respect that the players had for David Stern. I don't think they have any respect for I think Engelbert is her name, Cathy Engelbert. I don't think they have any respect for her whatsoever.
Sure, you can't do both, right? You can't be disrespectful to players, not be in their favor, and also be the reason they're not getting paid.
No,
or at least part of the reason they're not getting paid. Now, I think when people don't like you, it's a little bit easier to start looking at what you're actually doing for me. You know what I mean? If I already don't like you, that quote, if Fee is correct, and that quote about Caitlin Clark should be on her hands and knees, that is some real problematic mentality. That is some serious slave owner mentality that she got.
I didn't want to say that, but that's really how I felt, to be honest with you. That's what
it
sounds
me
like.
too.
Shut up and be happy that you got a job. Shut up.
Yeah. And to be honest, like there's a lot of people in the world that have this type of mentality. Let's just be real about it. They do end up in positions of power. I've always believed that people like Napheesa Collier are so important because she has this like very generous spirit about her. She, her and Stewie, they founded Unrivaled. What was the selling point of Unrivaled? Equity for players. You're going to be paid more than you've ever been paid before. You get to stay in the United States during the off season because you don't want to go to Russia. You don't want to go to Turkey. You don't want to go through, customs in Russia and shit and go through what Brittany Griner went through. Right.
We just don't bring drugs to the country though.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Sure, absolutely. But also getting jailed for having a little bit of weed is kind of crazy, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
America, man. Hey, laws is laws in different countries. I can't say if I know the law, I can't say, oh, well, that shouldn't be the law. That's the law. Don't go to that country if you don't want to follow that law.
I think Russia has its own problems in terms of corruption and shit, but nevertheless, let's move on.
Definitely
do. I think Fee has always shown me this spirit of paying it forward. Service. She is a person who has always been of service to her teammates, to her family, and to her community. And everyone in Minnesota would tell you that she's so generous with her time with the media and stuff. She's a media darling for a reason. People love her for a reason. And what she's doing with Unrivaled, players love her. And she has become this voice for the players right now. And she is assuming a place that is able to make some change. As one of the best players in the WNBA or the NBA, you have a disproportionate amount of impact, money, but also responsibility to your co-players.
Well, Penn, it's not so much that she's just a great basketball player. It's the fact that she is the vice president of the WNBA Players Association.
For
you
a
know
reason.
I mean? So she, yeah, because she is this type of person. She is the type of person to stand up. She is the person to defend others. She is that person. I'm happy that Fee did this. So yesterday I talked about it at first, and I was like, I'm happy. But then I did a second analysis of it as well, and I mean, it's a lot to it. As far as I'm not gonna go ahead and just demonize Cathy based off of one statement that Fee made in an alleged conversation, because I didn't hear Cathy say these things. And I'm not calling Fee a liar. I'm just saying that I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt here. And it's just one press conference in bad reffing. People get really upset when they see bad reffing and they look for somebody to blame. And I think there should be something done about the reffing. I don't think it's consistent at all. And I think somebody could really get hurt. And I definitely don't want to see that.
Does it swing you at all that so many players came out in support of Fee?
Well, I think there's a lot of people frustrated, and I think that the reffing issue has a lot to do with it. You know what I'm saying? I think they're also upset about the money issue. We've talked about this time and time again, and you can't just, obviously, yes, you deserve more, but you can't just go from 9% to 50% in one off season. You know what I'm saying? That can't happen. So while yes, I do believe these ladies deserve to get paid much more, you can't just happen overnight. The reffing situation, when you got bad, look, nothing frustrates me when I was playing ball long time ago, when I was playing basketball, nothing frustrated me more than bad reffing. Also, I've also been in situations where my money was late, and nothing has made me more mad than not getting my money on time. So imagine having bad reffing and not getting the money you want. I'm pissed at somebody. So when I hear somebody like Napheesa Collier go up there and say these things and talk, oh yeah, Fee, get her, Fee. But let's slow down,
but
y'all.
There's a big difference between you and Fee.
Yes, but no, I'm not trying to say there's a thing between us. I'm not trying.
No.
What's the difference, Penn? Because
Thank you, Chill, because that is the point we're going at, which is intellectual curiosity here. The difference is Fee runs a league. Fee runs a league. She's done the job. She's not just a frustrated player. You might be a frustrated player who's afraid, who's pissed off the refs are not right. You can roll your eyes all you want.
So none of these other players have a league.
Doing the job. If you run a league, you got a husband who's doing the same work. You're doing that work. You create the league. You get sponsorships. You get partnerships. You get arena deals. You get TV right deals.
And how many other players have done that, Penn? So let's stay focused on the question you asked me. Hold on, Chill, because you just opened that can for Penn. He talking about what's the difference is the same difference with everybody else, Penn. You can't say that and then talk about, well, these other players are frustrated too. None of these other players' husbands are the president of Unrivaled. None of these other players, except for Breonna Stewart, have founded a league as successful as Unrivaled. So once again, what I say is, yes, I expect people to be upset. Why? Their money isn't what they think it should be, and they got bad refs. That can be fixed. That's something that can be fixed. That's something that Cheryl Reeve said needs to be fixed. And I think Cathy hears her. I think everybody hears her about the refs. Once again, I'm just not gonna just demonize. Now, there's already been talking that she's gonna step down. And if she does, and they get somebody better in there, that's great. But what I'm saying is, I'm just not gonna just demonize this lady because Fee had a 4-minute statement, and then a bunch of other players supported it. While I know they're upset about things that can be fixed. That's all I'm saying.
I wanted to make one little point. I do think it's very nasty if Cathy told Fee that Kaylin Clark, of all people, should be grateful for the platform that the W provided her. Respectfully, players like Kaylin Clark and Angel Reese are part of the reason why you just signed that new media deal, because they were already established superstars heading into the W. That's number one. Number two, the biggest lie athletes have ever been told in sports is to not worry about the refs and they don't impact the outcome
That's
of a
awful.
game. That's the biggest lie ever told to any athlete. I understand why coaches say it. I know you want to control what you can control, woo, yada, yada, yada. But it can't be so blatantly bad that, like, you have to say something at that point. And it's been that bad in the W. So I'm glad somebody finally said it. I think the NBA, some of the NBA players should have been doing this a long time ago too, with people like Joey Crawford, who was throwing people out sitting on the bench.
Tim
Y'all
Duncan.
remember that? Y'all remember when he threw Tim Duncan out when he was on the
He got
bench?
suspended for the rest of the playoffs for that.
Happening.
He got
That should've
suspended
been
for the rest of the
Yeah,
playoffs.
now
after
he's
that.
in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So what?
That's
Fred,
crazy.
But why? I'm once again, I don't want to call Fee a liar, and I refuse to do that.
I don't think
But what
she
I'm
lied
saying,
about any of that stuff.
what I'm saying is, imagine you being the commissioner and telling the vice president of the WNBA Players Association that this player should be grateful and be on her knees and all of this. Now I'm not saying Fee making it up. I'm just saying,
you
chill.
kind of are.
I'm kind of not. You should kind of listen. What I'm
listening.
saying, chill, is that if there's a reason Fee is doing this as well, and I'm not. But hold on, though, chill, because I want to lay this out to you.
Keep going. Keep
Chill.
going.
If I chill, let's say me and you, let's say last All-Star game, me and you was kicking it, and I tell you something about Dave or somebody higher up that's they doing some funny business, right? And I'm like, oh, next year when the season starts, they saying that we should do this, but we could really do this. And I tell you that, and it affects everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't say nothing to nobody, but you wait until something goes wrong, but you got some type of leverage. Like, for instance, let's just lay it all out. She told Fee this at Unrivaled, right?
In confidence, by the way. In confidence.
But at that moment, the vice president of the Players Association knows this. We don't have good leadership. She doesn't care about us. You wait, but then you start the season, play a whole season for a league that feels this way about its players, and then you wait till after you get kicked out the playoffs, while the season's still going, to let the cat out the bag, spill the beans.
I think you're looking at it in a different way.
You got your season, your league's about to start in a couple months.
Yep.
I'm just saying, like I'm just saying, let's cause a little chaos in the house. You know what I'm saying? Shake it up while we about to get started over here. Now, Fee might have all good intentions. Chill. Fee might have all the good intentions. I'm just saying something's a little fishy, and that's it. That's all I'm saying.
Now, to your point, Ox, I don't think it's a coincidence that, like you just mentioned, that the Unrivaled is about to start. Well, I also don't think it's a coincidence that we got a labor deal coming up too. Don't leave that part out. I mean, I think that's very important to mention. But Ox, you're a very smart man. I've heard you talk more than once, more than twice. You're a very smart man. Ox, is it ridiculous for me to think that a commissioner is feeling herself and big timing the Players Association president? Is it ridiculous for me to think that? I don't think that. I 100% think that she got in front of Fee and said, "Bitch, you should be happy that we doing what we doing for y'all. Who you think you are? This league wasn't doing anything before, and now we doing this. So you should be happy with what's going on." Even if she said it in confidence, I'm certain that it was a conversation. It probably wasn't to that magnitude, but it was something like that, right? So with that being said, Fee, to your point, she probably held on to that. Okay, I'm gonna hold on to this. Once the season ends, we had one of the best seasons in WNBA history this season. We had a great playoffs. On top of that, we got a labor agreement coming up. With this labor agreement coming up, we got leadership who's already unstable, which I think that if Cathy's out, I think that this collective bargaining agreement, I think it's going to go a lot smoother if she's out, to be quite honest with you. I don't think that it's going to be a situation where she's still there. We might have a lockout, and I think a lockout would really screw them up. But real talk to your point, as an official, before the season starts, we come in as a group of all the referees. We come in as a group, and we have what's called a point of emphasis for the season. All right, we're going to pay attention to traveling more. We're going to pay attention to hand checking. We're going to pay attention to something specific, right? So in the process of us paying attention to something specific, we also talk about what we're not going to call. All right, we're going to pay attention to coaches being out of the coaching box. This kind of stuff where you see players getting roughed up, where you see players getting beat up, The league is allowing that because as a referee, I got to call what I see. If they're telling me that this isn't a point of emphasis, that we got to pass on this, I can't do it. And the reason why I can't do it is because I want to referee in the playoffs. I want to referee the bigger games because the checks are bigger. If you notice, there's the same people refereeing in the playoffs.
Mhm.
If you notice, there's the same people refereeing in the NBA championship. Is that just because they better? No, it's because they following the rules. It's because they're following the letter of the law, which is the point of emphasis. So, I mean, I think we're in a situation where leadership in the WNBA is a little unstable right now. So they got some explaining to do. They do.
Can I ask y'all a question? I want to ask y'all a question real quick. I feel this way, and I want to know how y'all feel. Mars, I want to know how you feel about this. Do you feel that it's a conflict of interest for the founder of a competing league to also be the vice president of the WNBA Player Association?
Yes.
I think it's a conflict of interest. 100%. I think it's a conflict of interest, and that's another reason I just think there's something fishy going on. I don't know. But once again, I said this yesterday. If you tell the truth, I don't care when you tell the truth. So if he's telling the truth, everything she said is true, then I don't care when she said it. I'm happy you're telling the truth. But I also know you're trying to weaponize that conversation. No matter what you're trying, and you should take advantage, or not even take advantage, but you should let people know what's happening. If she's saying these things behind closed door, 100% you should let that be known. But I know that Fee is playing chess right now.
But she absolutely should, because I think number one, because Chill brought up they're about to do another CBA, collective bargaining agreement. I'm pretty sure, right? And then to me, I think every WNBA player should be playing an Unrivaled. I don't think there's another better like leveraging tool than, hey, we have our own league. And what they just got valued at like $300 million or something.
And we got a TV deal too, real talk. And we got a TV
right.
deal.
So I'm saying
their average salary, real talk, in Unrivaled is $220. The average salary in the WNBA is $120.
Right. So and Fee and Fee's husband runs that league. So I do agree with you that she's definitely weaponizing that conversation. But to me, I'm saying I think it's for the betterment, though, of her, the players. I think she should, and she's negotiating in live and in action. I think she should do.
Wait, well, real talk. I was looking up some more about that yesterday, right? And I was, I was actually just learning a lot. The thing about it is, so Fee's husband, I think his name is Alex Bazell. He's the president, but the commissioner of Unrivaled is Mickey Lawler. And she was the president of the Women's Tennis Association, and she's credited for like expanding women's tennis, bringing a lot more sponsorships, bringing a lot more money. So the commissioner over there, Mickey Lawler, she's a beast in sports. You know what I'm saying? Like she was on the men's tennis circuit before she went to the women's tennis circuit. So she's known for getting those players paid. She was an agent first. Their company over there, they had like 1,600 clients in 85 countries. Like she's a dog when it comes to getting players paid. I think that has a lot to do with how much endorsements they're getting, how much their players are already average making $100,000 more than the average pay in the WNBA. Also, with that being said, to be fair, you got to remember, like Unrivaled, everybody's kind of playing. It's not like there's a lot of low level players. So I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I think the average salary is a little skewed based on that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because it's less play. Because there's less players. But Penn, to your point, I mean, because you seem a little agitated about the conflict of interest. Penn, you can't be the founder of Burger King, but then be the president of the union for McDonald's. That's not the way that works, brother. No.
Direct conflict of interest right there.
I think what Fee has done over the last 3 years for women's basketball, in terms of opening avenues, not just for herself, not for her husband, they're doing it for everybody. What they are trying to do is create some fairness in this field. And the reason that they're doing this is because they're sick and tired of Cathy Engelbert, frankly, dropping the ball. Because there's an opportunity here, and it's really frustrating as an underling, which is to say as a player for the Minnesota Lynx, right? It's really frustrating to see an opportunity and to have a league office that believes you should settle for less. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of women that don't think a lot about women. They don't think a lot of women. Some of the most sexist people in the world are women. They think nothing of women. They think women deserve less. I have researched this for 15 years of my life, and you will be so surprised at how many cases of oppression it is women who are coming down on women and holding women down. Cathy Engelbert is an example of that type.
So basically, you're saying women are the problem.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying that. See, you should try to listen a little bit more. You know,
my bad.
What I'm trying to say here is you're the problem.
Why is that?
Because
Ox or Cathy?
No, Ox. Because in this episode, what you have done, no, not black men, Ox specifically. What you have
Why
done
is Ox the problem?
is you have raised doubt on Fee's motivation when you really haven't thought about Fee's motivation. You've raised doubts about her.
I haven't thought about it. That's the only reason I said that.
You said that.
I thought about it.
Okay, listen, because I paid a lot of attention to what you said over the last 20 minutes. Let me try to summarize some of the stuff that I think you said. And this is, again, me interpreting. You've called into question. You've called into question her motivation to do this after the season, implying, why didn't you do this before the season now that you're knocked out?
Yes,
so now a random person listening to this with no insight, maybe not even, gonna go and listen to what Fee said, not research the economics of the WNBA, what these players could be getting paid. What those people are going to think is, oh, she just mad.
I don't care what those people think, and you shouldn't care what those people think either. If you're not invested in this, like if you don't care about the WNBA, you're not going to listen to Fee's interview. Your opinion on what I think about it means absolutely shit to me.
This is beyond WNBA. Okay. This goes to women's sports.
I'm talking about the WNBA. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm having a conversation about this topic.
They are not fairly paid.
Wait. That's not even up for debate, Penn. I said that a moment ago. I said, man, let's just go to another super.
What? Wait. So Ox, because we're Ox, where you are, Ox, where you are. I think Ox is in the. I think Ox is in the. I think Ox is in the right neighborhood. I just think that he knocked on the wrong door. What I mean when I say that, Ox, is the motivation. What I'm saying is the motivation for Fee. I think it had a lot to do with the collective bargaining agreement coming up. You saying about them getting knocked out the playoffs with Unrivaled. I also think that that's valid too. I 100% think that that's valid. I think that has something to do with it, especially considering how leadership is having a difficult time right now and leadership is unstable. 100%. I think it's more for them to get a better deal and for them to get Engelbert out, because I think she's the problem, and I think that these negotiations will go a lot smoother if this were able to go through. I think these negotiations would go a lot smoother.
I want to just reiterate, just for the people in the back and the people that maybe just walked in and got the wrong idea. I just want to be clear about what I'm saying. I think that if there is faulty leadership, I think the vice president, Napheesa Collier, and the president, Nneka Ogwumike, of the WNBA Players Association need to speak up and protect the players. If Cathy Engelbert is incompetent, if Cathy Engelbert has the wrong motivations, if Cathy Engelbert doesn't care about the players, get her ass out of there.
Which sounds like she doesn't.
100%.
When they launched,
real quick, because I want to make sure, because I think people might have heard what you said and might get the wrong idea and think I am the problem. I want people to understand. I want people to understand what I'm saying really quick. Is that if there's an issue there in the leadership, it needs to be addressed and it needs to be fixed quick, fast, and in a hurry. But I also think that Napheesa Collier has some motivation, and that's not wrong. Her and her family have put a lot of money into this. They're doing something for the women in the WNBA to where they don't have to go play overseas. They don't have to do this. They can come play over here. I support Unrivaled. I love Unrivaled. I watched as much as I could. I'm tapped in. I think that's a good league, a good thing they got going on. I also understand that in this business, you have to make money. I think Napheesa Collier wants to build her league. I think Napheesa Collier did this and said this at a calculated time. I think there's also a conflict of interest that she's in the WNBA Players Association, and she's running this other league. I think that's a conflict of interest. That's all I said. I think if Cathy Engelbert is an issue, get her out of there.
Then why does she want the WNBA to be better? Because why does she want better for the WNBA? When they launched Unrivaled, what was the first selling point? You're going to have equity and you're going to be paid more than you've ever been paid before. There's one way of looking at this.
More than you ever been paid before in the W.
Yes, more than you've been paid in the W. You're going to be able to stay in America. Why do this? Is it for yourself? Possibly. Sure. Nobody asking you to do charity. You're doing a lot of legwork. You deserve to be paid for it. And you deserve some recognition for it. But this
also
idea,
it is 3-on-3 basketball.
Look, man. I told you. I'm trying to read through the words because people be saying a lot of stuff, and then they introduce a little bit of a but. I'm not calling Fee a liar, but I want to give Cathy Engelbert the benefit of the doubt. Why? Let's give Fee the benefit of the doubt. And she didn't just lie into a microphone. How about that? Number one. Number two. Let's not act like no. Hold on. For people who have not been following this situation, let me make it clear. Napheesa Collier and many players in the WNBA have had an issue with Cathy Engelbert for years. When they brought the WNBA, when they brought Unrivaled, they talked about this. They've talked about leadership in the WNBA. They've talked about what they've done for brand sponsorships to create value. They're doing this for a reason. And you may interpret that as, well, they want to do this to destroy the WNBA to make Unrivaled better, or the conflict of interest or whatever. What I think, and I hope that this is proven true, is what they want is for Cathy Engelbert to get out of the way so that a more progressive, more business-minded, and hopefully someone who respects players and the game that they're playing a little bit more, who will care about players getting injured, who will care about refereeing, who will care about all the things that players have issues with, that they want that person to come in and take the W to the next level. And do you know what that will do? That will create another unrivaled opportunity, but even greater than unrivaled. What I don't think Napheesa Collier is trying to rip the WNBA apart so that Unrivaled will be better, because that would be the conflict of interest. Chill, you asked me about Burger King and McDonald's. Well, let's just see. If my goal is for Burger King to be better than McDonald's, it's a conflict of interest. If my goal is for America to eat more burgers, it ain't that. You
don't think Fee wants Unrivaled to be better than the WNBA?
No, I think she wants women's basketball to be great.
And if it means Unrivaled,
you don't think so. Penn, when you founded your movie, sorry, your film festival.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, when you founded your film festival, you wasn't like, I'm gonna make this the best film festival I can, even if it means being better than another film festival. You think that Napheesa Collier founded Unrivaled was like, you know what, Stewie, let's make it the best we can. But wait. Better than the WNBA. If we get too close to being better than the WNBA, we need to stop and pump the brakes. We went and got Mickey Lawler. We went and got Mickey Lawler to be the commissioner of our league because we didn't want it to be great. We went and got a great woman in sports in general to head this league because we don't want it to be better than the W.
Yeah, not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone thinks that way. I think some people think differently. And you asked me a question about the film festival. You're saying I have juried other film festivals. I have juried other film festivals. Every young film festival has come after us, that's reached out to me to help them. Free consultation. I have helped them. Any festival in this city, any filmmaker in this city. My goal with Pendants was to create a new standard for how filmmakers are treated, because I thought filmmakers are being treated like garbage by film festivals. There were festivals in the city that weren't paying for air travel. We paid for air travel. You know how we paid for air travel? Because I paid it out of my own fucking pocket. Even when we didn't have sponsorships, I lost money every year. I lost $40,000 on Pendants year 4. Happily did it because I knew that the filmmakers would be treated well. And you know what that has done? That has created an impact where other festivals are like, if they can do it, shit. Now that changes the standard. Now filmmakers will go and say, you know what? Pendants can do it. Why can't you do it? And the question is, that's the point. Napheesa Collier, I believe, and again, I don't know.
Collier ain't losing no money.
Napheesa Collier is paying players.
That's why she said
paying players more money.
I'm not worried about. That's why she said I'm not worried about no fine. Because she getting paid.
We're not.
Chill. Because Penn lives in this fantasy land.
No, I don't live in fantasy land.
Chill.
Not
who's getting paid? Who's getting paid? Chill. And you think the fees are not getting paid?
Yes, somebody getting paid. Somebody getting paid.
Chill. This is simple math. If they pay, okay, we just said that Unrivaled pays players on an average of $220,000, right?
Yeah,
and the WNBA. You said that. Okay, cool. You get credit for that. You said 220,000, and the WNBA pays 110,000, right? Can we agree that if that can we agree? Sorry, what'd you say?
120 on average.
Okay,
from what I read.
120,000 on average. And the rookies, by the way, three of the most popular players in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Beckers are getting paid even less than that, right? So those players getting paid very little money. So when you make a different equation, let's just say Unrivaled says, we're not going to pay 220. We're a new league. We're independently funded. Y'all come over here and play for 60,000. Wouldn't they make a little bit more money? They make a hell of a lot more money. You don't have to pay players 220,000. You're giving players a chance to stay in America, play 3-on-3 basketball. And oh, by the way, what's the other thing with Unrivaled? You're going to have the best trainers in the world. You're going to have the best development in the world. We're going to get you ready for the WNBA season. They're not trying to replace the WNBA. I think you're viewing this from such an antagonistic point of view of, one league can survive. They're trying to create year-round women's basketball. And that's the point.
But Pin, stop saying I said something I didn't say, bro. Let's just move on because
I didn't do that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rich.
I want like 30 because I actually do agree with Penn on this. I think the purpose of Unrivaled is to put as much pressure on the W, so then they get treated how they want to in the W, so then they don't have to play in Unrivaled. Like, to me, that is the point. It is to create a standard in which, we want to set this as a standard. We also want to prove that we have this level of value, so you can't keep devaluing us and saying that us as players or these certain players don't have a value or whatever because we're proving it in our own league. I do think that is the point of Unrivaled. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Fee is doing it to be better than the W. I don't think that is the point. I think the point is to apply pressure to the W to be better for the players, so then they don't have to play in Unrivaled.
Right. Once again, real talk. I didn't say that. What I did say is I don't think Fee's not trying to be better than the W. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think she's trying to. I don't think she's trying to take the W down, but I do think that the timing was peculiar. That's all I said. Once again, I didn't say she lied. All I said is I didn't hear Cathy say that. I'm not going to demonize this woman off of one 4-minute statement.
Is it possible she didn't want to be a distraction to her team? Is it possible that she wanted to wait for her season to end? Is it possible they were a championship contender all year and she didn't want to become the media thing?
Anything's possible, Pin. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just saying, maybe give her the benefit of the doubt that you're giving Cathy.
Maybe not.
Maybe Cathy didn't say these horrible things. Maybe he didn't have some calculated thing where she's some loser button over refereeing, right?
I don't know Napheesa Collier, just like I don't know Cathy. I don't know either of these women. So therefore, I'm not going to demonize one because one said something for 4 minutes. I'm saying if she said those, but you know what?
I agree with that. I think she said it. I'm not gonna lie.
And, she probably did say it.
I 100% believe she said it. And I'm gonna end this real talk with this shit. Sound like you are entertaining another chick. You ain't getting with her, but you entertaining another chick to make your chick step her game up.
That's
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You ain't leaving your chick.
You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get a fresh cut. I'm finna put on some cologne. You feel me?
Yep.
Hey, I ain't trying to leave you. I'm just trying to make sure you know.
But let you know that you either get on your game or I'm out. Get on your game.
And that's
if I come back home and them dishes not done and it ain't no hot food on the plate.
Okay.
I'm glad we had a
conversation.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Shout out to Fee because you know what I'm saying? She's looking out. She's doing her job. She's doing her job.
That's what you're supposed to do, Ox. I mean, you're the president. Right. You're the president, the vice president of the union. Your job as the president of the union is to look out for my best interests. That's your job. To make sure that I'm straight. Whatever I need. That's your job.
Exactly, Chill. That's all I'm trying to say. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Keep doing your job, Fee.
It's the player choice way. Yeah, them boys don't get it started. The player choice way. Player choice way. Come and switch lanes into the player choice way.